4 days ago, former unified heavyweight champion of the world, Anthony Joshua, got his ass handed to him. He got his ass handed to him in embarrassing fashion. It was honestly humiliating. It was humiliating for me as a Joshua fan to see him get manhandled against Andy Ruiz, because I honestly felt that he should have been able to, beat somebody like Andy Ruiz. During that fight, I learned a lot about Anthony Joshua, and I learned a lot about Andy Ruiz. After the fight was over, the guy that I was impressed with was Andy Ruiz, right? I went into that fight not really being a big Andy Ruiz fan. I mean, of course, I knew who he was because I follow the heavyweight division. I've seen him in the past. I saw when he fought Joseph Parker, Dimitrenko, even when he fought Tor Hamer back in the day, like back in 2013, 2014, right? Oh, even Joe Hanks. I remember when he beat Joe Hanks for the first time. But going into this fight, I was overlooking him. And I made videos trashing him. Videos saying, well, not trashing him, but saying that, he has no chance. He proved me wrong. He made me eat crow. And he impressed me because what he was able to do against Joshua impressed me, right? The way he was able to slip and slide, it was very impressive. I was very impressed with Andy Ruiz, and I'm officially an Andy Ruiz fan. All right, this won me over, this performance. Okay, but when it came to Anthony Joshua, he did so many things wrong in this fight, right? So we have to talk about the rematch now, because everyone's saying now, it seems the reports are saying that Andy Ruiz will be defending his unified heavyweight belts against Anthony Joshua, because they signed, when he signed to fight Anthony Joshua the first time, he agreed to fight Anthony Joshua in a rematch. Okay, in an immediate rematch. Now, I personally, if I was Joshua, I would not take the rematch right away, just because I think he needs to improve major things in order to defeat Andy Ruiz. And I don't think that 5 months is enough time to change your whole style. I don't think 5 months is enough time. Personally, I would like it if he fought somebody and then try to showcase or try to use that style against that tune-up opponent. But it looks like Joshua is just going to be rushed in there in a rematch with Andy Ruiz, which means he has 5 months to try and change his style and do the things he needs to correct against Andy Ruiz in order for him to beat him. Now, in the first fight, Anthony Joshua was doing... It was a fairly even fight, and it was fairly even because they were both very cautious. Like the first 2 rounds, nothing really happened, right? Nothing really happened in the first 2 rounds. You could have been looking at that like, okay, everything's fine. What ended up happening is in round 3, Joshua, things started to pick up the pace. Both Joshua and Ruiz started getting aggressive. That was like the round where they finally actually started the fight. The first 2 rounds were filling out rounds. And round 3, Ruiz got a lot more aggressive. And then Joshua retaliated. He was a lot more aggressive. Joshua, of course, steps in with a beautiful left hook that hits Ruiz right on the button, right? Ruiz gets dropped, and he looks like he's a little shocked. He had that face, oh shit, did this just happen? But it was obvious to me that he wasn't out of it, right? When he got up, he wasn't stumbling, right? What impressed me in that moment of Ruiz is he didn't panic. He didn't fold. Mind you, Andy Ruiz had never been dropped in his entire career. Andy Ruiz has been a professional for 10 plus years. Andy Ruiz has 33 professional fights. He has never been dropped in his entire life. Anthony Joshua was the first guy to drop him, right? And sometimes when that happens to fighters, they panic. They have panic attacks. They oh my God, did this actually just happen? But what impressed me about Andy Ruiz is he didn't let that, mentally break him. He didn't let that mentally cave him in. He didn't cave in when he experienced that, right? He gets up, he puts his hands up by his chin, and he lets the ref know, I'm good. What impressed me about this, though, is the heart of Andy Ruiz. As soon as the referee allows them both to fight, Anthony Joshua jumps on Andy Ruiz. He becomes aggressive because in Joshua's mind, he's thinking, okay, I'm going to knock this guy the fuck out. He's hurt. I'm going to finish him off. He's a hurt, he's a hurt fighter. I'm gonna finish him off. But of course, there's a saying in boxing: the most dangerous fighters is a hurt fighter. That's the most dangerous fighter, a hurt fighter. As soon as Joshua goes after him, Andy Ruiz does not hug. Andy Ruiz does not, go on the back foot. Andy Ruiz, because he instantly recovered, Andy Ruiz stays in the pocket with Joshua, and he trades with Anthony Joshua. And what impressed me was this is how good his thought process was during that moment. Because you would think he would be at that moment he would be all over the place because he just got knocked down. You would think that like he would be on like he just won't be 100% there. But what impressed me is as soon as Joshua attacks him, you see Andy Ruiz dipping and dodging. Joshua throws another hook, the same hook he landed to knock him down the first time, and you see you see Andy Ruiz slip it. He slips it. Andy Ruiz immediately realized what the problem was. Okay, Anthony Joshua caught me with a left hook, so now I'm gonna slip it. Every time Anthony Joshua throws the left hook up close, I'm gonna move my head because I didn't move my head the first time and I got my ass dropped. So in that moment when he was just getting up, from the canvas, he already immediately realized what his mistake was. And that was the fact that he didn't move his head. He stayed right there and he was immediately dodging. And it's not even a joke. He dodged like 3 left hooks from Anthony Joshua. Okay. And he also showed heart because he didn't capitulate under that pressure. He was dropped by the champion. He came back like a beast, right? Like he was possessed. It was beautiful to watch. I love when I see fighters do that. They get hurt, they come back with a warrior mentality, that I'm gonna come back and beat your ass. I'm not gonna let you bully me, right? He's fighting Joshua toe to toe, and they're trading off. Joshua is doing the mistake that he's standing right in front of Ruiz. Ruiz is a much shorter man. Ruiz is like 6 feet tall, 6'1", and he has a 76-inch reach. Anthony Joshua is 6'6", and he has an 82-inch reach. You do not need a guy who's 6'1", and it has a 76-inch reach being able to land left hooks on you. That's not a good thing. If you are 6'6", a guy who's 6'1", and has a 76-inch reach should not be able to land his left hook on your face. If he's able to do that, that simply means that he's way too close to you. He's way too close to comfort. That's what the shorter guys wants. They want to be able to be up close to you to land that right hook, their hooks on you, right? Joshua makes the mistake of allowing Andy Ruiz to get close to him, and he gets hit with a shot in the side of his head. It was a temple shot, and it was over. And it was an equilibrium shot. Anthony Joshua never recovered. He literally was on shaky legs the entire. Like if you saw when he got hit the first time with the hook, he did a dance like he did the stinky leg. He did a little dance, and he never recovered from that. Anthony Joshua never recovered from that. For the rest of the fight, he was just on Queer Street. He looked like he didn't know what was going on, right? So that shot completely ruined Anthony Joshua for the rest of the fight. Of course, Andy Ruiz was still recovered. He was full of energy, and he just continued to. And again, throughout the fight, throughout the remaining rounds, Anthony Joshua kept making that mistake where he allowed Andy Ruiz to get in range. And every time he allowed Andy Ruiz to get in range, Andy Ruiz would throw a punch, hurt him, and Anthony Joshua will be on his backside again on the canvas, right? What Anthony Joshua needs to do in this rematch, if he wants to beat Andy Ruiz, right, is he needs to be disciplined. First of all, he needs to keep Andy Ruiz at the end of his jab, okay? He cannot allow Andy Ruiz to get up close, to get in range. He already knows, Anthony Joshua already knows that Andy Ruiz has the punching power to seriously hurt him. Why? Because he felt it the first time around. So he knows if he allows Andy Ruiz to get up close, and if he allows Andy Ruiz to land some of his hooks on his chin, he knows he could be seriously hurt. He knows this could happen to him again. So he needs to be getting Andy Ruiz away from him. Andy Ruiz only has these opportunities if you are next to him. He needs to fight on the back foot. I believe he needs to fight a back foot game type of fight. It might be a stinker. People might not like that type of style. But if he wants to be Andy Ruiz, he needs to do that. He needs to also learn how to clinch. This is something that Anthony Joshua did not do in the first fight. When he got hurt, when he got back up, he did not clinch. Vladimir Klitschko, when a shorter guy would get on the inside, would freaking clinch you. Why? Because he knew by clinching you, by leaning on you, he would prevent his shorter opponent from, getting their combinations off. Anthony Joshua does not know how to do that, or at least he has not done that yet, or he has not learned that yet. When a shorter guy comes in, you lean on him, you clinch on him to prevent him from to getting his combinations off. When he was hurt, every time Anthony Joshua was hurt, he never clinched Andy Ruiz. He never clinched Andy Ruiz. He never held on. He never, had him on a headlock like some fighters do. He never does. He never did that. He just elected to trade off with Andy Ruiz, and it ended up getting him knocked down like freaking 20 times because he was not even fully there. His equilibrium was all over the place, and on top of that, he has an aggressive, fast heavyweight who's a puncher going after him, and you're trying to go trade off with him. That's why you're gonna keep getting dropped. It's not a good look. So he needs to apply this in the rematch. If he finds himself in trouble, if Andy Ruiz gets in range and lands a hook and it wobbles Joshua and he feels that, okay, he just got wobbled, he needs to clinch Andy Ruiz. He does not need to trade off with Andy Ruiz. He does not need to do what he did in the first fight. Okay, I'm going to trade off with Andy Ruiz. Because if he does that, he's going to get hit again with another hook or another straight right hand or another type of punch, and he's going to get dropped. Andy Ruiz is a combination puncher, and he's so fast. There was a knockdown where he just overwhelmed Joshua with the speed. So he needs to learn that if he gets hurt or if he gets hurt by a Ruiz punch, hold on to him, clinch him. If he sees Ruiz is in range, don't trade off with him. And if you do trade off with him, lean on him. Remember to hold him, Vladimir Klitschko style. People, I'm hearing rumors that he's gonna be, the people saying that Vladimir Klitschko is gonna help him out. Well, he's probably gonna teach him how. Maybe that's a good thing because he'll teach him how to clinch. That's what he needs to do. Another thing, if he hurts Andy Ruiz, he needs to realize that just because you drop a dude does not mean he's out of it. In the first fight, he made that mistake where he thought, okay, Ruiz is out. I'm gonna overwhelm him and knock him the fuck out. So he needs to understand that just because you drop a dude, that doesn't mean they're out of it. And Ruiz wasn't out of it. So if he does manage to drop Ruiz again, Andy Ruiz, he needs to take his time. Don't just go in there rushing in like a wild man trying to knock the guy out. Take your time, okay? But I think that he needs to improve that. He needs to be on the back foot. He needs to use his height and reach to his advantage. He needs to just play one of those safety type of fights. It won't be the most entertaining fight, but it's what he needs to do to regain his unified belts. If he doesn't, and if he elects to fight toe to toe, if he elects to do stuff like that, I'm telling you, he's gonna get knocked the fuck out again. And that's all she wrote. He won't be fighting for no championship belts for a while, unless they strip Andy Ruiz of his IBF belt, and then he'll fight for that belt. But that's what I think Anthony Joshua needs to do. Andy Ruiz, I heard that Andy Ruiz, they're saying that they want to see him build more muscle. I don't think he should do that. I don't think he should change his physique because I'm hearing that. Oh, I heard him in interviews saying stuff like he wants to look like the Mexican Anthony Joshua, be more muscular, but I don't think he should do that. That might affect him. He's had that type of physique his whole career. He's been a chubby type of fighter. That's just his physique. I think he should just stay that type of physique because it's been successful for him thus far. Maybe just improve like your endurance, your ability to throw your punches for 12 rounds and stuff like that. But I don't think he needs to like lose drastically amount of weight just because I read a comment where somebody was like, that's his good luck charm. So I think he should just do what he did in the first fight. Stay in front of Joshua. Another thing, stick with the head movement. I was very impressed with the way he was able to dip and dodge. Very impressed. Throw hooks. Get in close range. It worked the first time. The first time he knocked out Joshua because he was up in close range. He needs to do the exact same thing. Stay in close range to Joshua, and you'll be able to knock him the fuck out again. You already know you have the power to knock out Joshua, right? Because you knocked him out already. So do it again. So you know you. So he's confident that he can knock out Joshua. I like the fact that he said he wants them to fight in Mexico. I saw he was on Jimmy Kimmel Live the other day, a few hours ago, and they were basically saying that I think you should fight in. Jimmy Kimmel was telling him I think you should have the rematch in the United States because when it comes to boxing, there's a little corruption there. Maybe if you go to the UK, you won't have any favors, and that's one of the things I said. I don't think Anthony Joshua. I mean, I don't think Andy Ruiz should fight in the UK just because I think they might try to rob him. Okay, or they won't give him any favors. They'll have a referee that is a very poor referee. They have poor judging. So I think he should stay. He's the A side now. He has all the belts. And there's no rematch clause for them to fight in the UK. So I think he should demand fighting either back in New York City, Madison Square Garden, or in Mexico, like Andy Ruiz wants. Anyway, guys, that's all I have to say. Tell me what you guys think of the video. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I'm out, bros.